Nobody ever talks about how one day you might possibly end up parenting your parents while parenting your own kids. Wait, or did I just not get the memo? Did you get the memo?
No, but when do you need it? Okay.
Today I'm taking my mom to one of her doctor's appointments. Now, what had happened last year, I had posted a TikTok that performed really, really well. This TikTok right here. And I was tipping my hats off to all the people that are taking care of both their elderly parents and their kids at the same time. Now, I had lived it for a very brief moment at the time because my father was terminally ill and unfortunately he passed away. And during that time, I was overwhelmed. It was emotionally exhausting, physically exhausting, and so I was like, I know, like it brought to my awareness that people live like that, and so I was like, you know what, hats off to you. And people are out here like, oh, like they felt seen, they felt validated, they were thanking me, and I was like, wow, a lot of us are part of the sandwich generation. Anyways, let's take my mom to this appointment now.
I'm gonna have to run off and take my mom to an appointment. Actually, I had forgotten about it. And she reminded me, she's like, don't forget the appointment tomorrow. So I'm gonna go get ready real quick to do that. And then hurry back so I can get back to these kids.
See, I'm learning that it's really important to have a schedule. Like, I mean, I have an internal schedule, but I think I'm at the point in life where I have so much going on that I really need to get a calendar. You still have a calendar?
I didn't hear you said the appointment's at 1:30.
So our dad used to support our mom. They were married 40 years. They did everything together. He took her to her appointments. She's not really mobile and she doesn't really take transit. She doesn't drive. So he was, who would take care of everything, bills and whatnot. And so ever since he passed, we now take on that responsibility. We, as in my sister and I.
I'm quickly gonna put her walker in the vehicle.
Because of her mobility issues, we have to make sure that when we do step out, that sometimes she has what she needs, and so just to facilitate her journey.
Mom, we gotta go in 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Anyways, hopefully we get there on time.
What's this appointment for again?
What's really great with these rides is an opportunity to have conversations. My mom talks a lot. I mean a lot. I mean, and that's where I get it from. And so, yeah, it's a great time to catch up because sometimes we don't always have the time that we would want to sit down and do all the stuff because we're living our own lives, and so it's really important to take little times sometimes just to stop and really just to share and have conversation. Our parents didn't really need us for much. At the most, they needed us for maybe like more so my dad really too, because he kind of was very independent. So at the most, like stuff like setting up his new printer. And now there's a little bit more responsibility.
So I'm just walking from the mailbox. My father's still getting mail. Taking care of him with this estate stuff has been quite the challenge.
One of the things that we have really struggled with, I think, since his passing has been dealing with his estate and helping her manage all these legal stuff. Like, how is this man still getting mail? Almost 2 years after his passing. Sometimes things slip through the cracks. When I got to the appointment to drop her off, I saw a lot of other elderly folks, mainly couples, which is what my mom and dad would have been, taking each other to their appointments. And then there were a lot of kids like adult kids, taking their parents to appointments, and some of them are riding solo. And it's really eye-opening to like that reality.
And we're on time.
On the bright side, we were on time. Actually, we had to wait on a prescription for her before she went to see the doctor, and so we ended up being a little bit late. The way we grew up is that we grew up in households where our parents had their parents lived with them, and taking care of parents and honoring our parents, that's what we're about. And so It's a challenge, but it's one that we don't take lightly and that we want to respect.
I'm just realizing I forgot to put on a mask. COVID is still out in these streets.
Now, I never know how long these appointments are going to take. Sometimes they're 30 minutes and sometimes they're 3 hours. And so, what I've learned is to bring your stuff. The beauty of being a digital creator and being self employed and working remotely is that I can work anywhere and do anything. So, if I'm working on a project, I'll bring it along. And one thing that this really brings to the awareness, and I think we often don't consider, is that they too are going through all these changes. She's going through still the grief, the loss of her husband, not having that constant companion, just aging in her body, not doing what it used to be able to do. So she has a lot of grief and a lot of loss, and she needs a lot of that support too. And so, whereas sometimes I feel guilty because we're like frustrated and maybe flustered and overwhelmed, but we have to be mindful that it's not just us, like everybody, it's an experience from a different POV for everybody, and to be mindful of her POV as well. We're gonna have to pivot. I don't think the kids, I'm not gonna be able to take the kids where they wanted to go. Looks like this appointment's going to go well over.
So we just wrapped up the appointment. We've been there 2 to 3 hours. Didn't expect it to take that long. And I have to rush home and get back to the kids and take them out because I promised we would spend some time. So bake a cake, a bunch of stuff that I have to do. So I'm gonna swing around, pick up my mom in the front there. These appointments are never easy though too, because there's a lot of information and it's often really not pleasant. No, but we stay positive.
These appointments always bring your mortality to the forefront. Like you realize, I mean, when my father passed away, that was really eye-opening, I think, to have somebody so close to you pass. But it's just going to these appointments and seeing like your parents who used to be, your rock in a sense, and seeing your parents who were like invincible, being able to do all these things, not invincible, but like all these things, and now they can't. And it just makes you appreciate life a little bit more and just have some more compassion. Life is a journey for us all, and we're all gonna hit these different stages. Actually, what I find fascinating is being able to see my daughter and my kids from that lens of like being a baby and growing and learning new things and developing their thoughts and personalities. And on the flip side, seeing my parents age and become older and see themselves aging and have to adjust to that, and being in the middle. It's a pretty interesting take. Anyways, let's go make some cake.
What kind of cake?
Chocolate!
Chocolate cake!
My favorite. One of the things that's really important for me is to be mindful of my kids and to stay true to my word. And sometimes that comes with sets of guilt, and frustration, and just guilt maybe over failed promises, or not showing up enough, or not being a good daughter enough, or not being a good mom enough. And it's a lot to navigate.
The cake is ready!
You know what? Family time is always a great time. We get the cat in the mix. It's a whole chaotic mess, but it's a beautiful mess. Our beautiful mess.
There's some good cake still. Now, off to dinner.
We decided to take the kids out for dinner as a treat instead, and continue to enjoy some family time.
Off to dinner.
I think what's really important is trying to find moments of peace, like moments of calm. Always constantly reminding yourself of, I'm going to say this, this might not resonate, but the privilege. And what I mean is, like, life is a privilege, to be lived and to experience good and bad. And so lately I've been trying to view things and teach my kids to view things from a place of privilege. Like, I don't have to do this. Like, it's not like I have to do this. I get to do this. And, thankfully, it's not every day that I have to juggle appointments and kids and everything. There are moments of downtime, and give yourself that downtime. I think we have to remember to like take that time to reboot and refuel, give ourselves a pat on the back for the work that we're doing, give ourselves that grace and compassion, and give others. Always important to give others that grace and compassion because they're navigating, the kids, when they're at you, they're navigating from a place of their own needs and what they can and cannot manage, and the parents as well. And so it's just compassion all around. And of course, be very careful not to burn out and to look for community and support in ways if you feel that you need to be supported, because it is very hard. And if you're doing it, you know what? Hats off to you. You're not alone. I'm curious though. I'd be curious to know like ways to find peace, ways to manage, ways to juggle. What does that look like for some people?